A happy Eid Mubarak to all our Muslim viewers across the continent and beyond. Welcome to the Tuesday's edition of Breakfast Central, coming to you live from Lagos, Nigeria. And in this part of the continent, it is a public holiday. I am Oluchi Enabong.
And I'm Wole Sochukuma. Good morning, Africa. Happy Eid Mubarak to everyone. And thank you very much for joining us today on the most colorful breakfast show on the African continent. Well, today is Tuesday, the 20th of July, 2021. We'll start with a look at the headlines. All about the Eid celebrations that begins across Africa.
And we'll be talking about the breaking story. Sunday Igboho arrested in Cotonou.
We'll take you to Anambra State in Nigeria, where court overturns PDP and ABGA judgments yet again.
And South Africa, where Jacob Zuma's trial continues in the continent of Africa.
Also, trends across Africa, what's trending and what from social media platform, we'll tell you all about it on the program.
Kuna kallon News Central TV.
Right, if you're just tuned in, this is Breakfast Central on News Central. And we'll begin with the breaking story from Nigeria, where Nigeria's Yoruba separatist leader, Sunday Adeyemo, popularly known as Sunday Igboho, has been arrested. And he was arrested in Benin Republic. This is weeks after he was declared wanted for allegedly stockpiling arms. Now, Igboho was arrested by security forces at the airport in Benin's capital, I beg your pardon, Cotonou, just last night as he was about to board a flight to Germany.
Now, you would recall that the Department of State Services in Nigeria, that's the DSS, had earlier said they were pursuing Igboho after fleeing a raid on his residence in southwestern Oyo State. Meanwhile, though, security forces are yet to comment on the arrest of Igboho, who has been actively campaigning for the formation of an independent state of Yoruba in the southwestern part of Nigeria. Now, to bring more context into this, breaking news this morning in Nigeria, we've got publisher and political analyst Godi Ofose this morning on Breakfast. Godi, good morning. Welcome to Breakfast Central.
Good morning. Thank you for having me here. It's nice to be here.
Good morning, Godi. Now, looking at this breaking story and with the information we're getting from Cotonou, Benin Republic, now he was just arrested less than 4 or 5 hours ago. What do you make of him wanting to leave Africa via Benin Republic?
Of course, thank you for having me. Sunday Igboho's life has been under threat. You have seen what the DSS and the security agencies in Nigeria did in his house. You see, you can't actually say someone is stockpiling arms when you are the only one that saw the arms. I don't know his offense. Sunday Igboho has been very peaceful in his protest. He has been very, very peaceful in calling for self-determination for the Yoruba people. He has not been very violent. He has never at one point have I read that he has called for arms for Yoruba people to carry arms against the state. So if his arrest is as a result of his call for a rally in Lagos, the same rally that took place in Ekiti, the same rally that took place in Osun State, the same rally that took place in Ondo State. And if the reason is that he called for the rally in Lagos and he has been asked to step down, or he has been asked to stop that rally and he refused, if that is the reason why it's being picked up, I think the Nigerian state is actually biting more than it can chew, because you can't begin to make all of these arrests and expect that these ethnic nations will keep quiet and support the central government. Central government is not doing what it's supposed to do in terms of bringing the enabling peace to the country. So I feel the arrest is unnecessary. Declaring him wanted in the first place is unnecessary. It doesn't make sense to me. I feel that it's going to eat up the polity the more. There's going to be a lot of protests and rallies across the country. And the Nnamdi Kanu dust is yet to settle, and you are arresting Igbo. And all the people, yesterday we learned that Nigerian Air Force fighter jet was shot down by a bandit. Bandits don't shut down fighter jet. Those things can only be done by the terrorists. And we still continue to call them bandits. So there is this kind of misgiving around the country as how this thing is being managed. I think, well, it's unfortunate that Igbo is being picked up. I could understand the reason why he wants to leave the country. His life has not been safe. His house was bungled. People were killed in his house. So if people kill in his house, he's a human being. He could fear for his life. Trying to run to a safety place to hibernate, then maybe make a statement from there. So if he's been arrested, well, it should be put to prosecution openly, and it should be judged openly. It's not something that it shouldn't be one of the political prisoner again that will be locked up forever. You are aware of El Zazaki. He's been there since 2015. No case brought upon him. Nothing has been done. Now,
all right, Godi. You talked about, Igboho being a wanted man, as they say, for allegedly stockpiling arms and ammunition. We saw the scenes about the raid on his house, the bullet-ridden holes of walls, and you asked, was that a raid or perhaps a attempted, whatever was attempted there? He was fearing for his life. But now he goes to Cotonou, and as we hear, it's been reported that he's been picked up there. What does that really tell you about, when people are under siege or in their fear and they go to a neighboring country, or perhaps you had to look at the likes of Nnamdi Kanu? What does that really tell you about the international community or the West African community, and perhaps the tentacles of the Nigerian government now?
Yes, it tells me that there's much cohesion, there's much partnership among the states. The countries are in a way cooperating with one another in trying to curb cross-border crime and the rest of it. The essence is that, for me, the import of all of this is that the Nigerian security agencies have been pretending, have been feigning ignorance, have been saying that they cannot do anything about those who are causing problems up north, especially in the northwest and the northeast, and they cannot arrest them. And I'm asking myself, and you are beginning to make serious arrests from people who are not fugitive, as it were. They are not hiding from people. What is the reason? Why have you not been able to arrest the bandit in the northwest? Why have you not been able to arrest the terrorists in the northeast? The Shakarawu, before he was allegedly killed by one of his own, has been in the pictures, have been there. Nobody has been able to pick him up. What is the problem? Does it mean that those who genuinely call for self-determinations are now the terrorists, or those who are miming and killing and shutting down the Nigerian aircraft in the northeast, in the northwest, are the ones that shouldn't be arrested? So I feel, yes, despite the fact that there is this increased cooperation among the West African states, especially, and in Africa, as in the case of Nnamdi Kanu and the rest of it, I feel that we should be very upright and live up to expectation in terms of equity. Yes, crime is crime. It doesn't have coloration. It doesn't have faith. It doesn't have ethnicity. When crime happens here, it affects everybody, even if it's your brother that commit the crime. You could share from the spoil of it. So I feel that whatever happened, Sunday Igboho case, I am in Yoruba land. I have also followed his antecedents. He hasn't been a very terrible person. He hasn't called for harm against the state. What he is doing, what the young man is doing, perhaps a lot of people may have concern about how he's going about it. But I don't think it should be picked up. I don't think it should be treated the way it's being treated. He has not been officially invited to the police stations. And Sunday Igboho was walking around the street here, was going around visiting all the traditional rulers in the Yoruba lands and the rest of it.
Okay.
He wasn't a hidden man. He wasn't living in the forest. So why the treatment?
All right, Godi, of us, do stay with us right here on Breakfast. We still have lots to talk about as we move straight to another story. This time, still in West Africa, Nigeria, but in the southeast of Nigeria, two Anambra State High Court sitting in Awka, the state capital, have ordered the Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, to enlist Senator Ugochukwu Uba and Professor Chukwuma Soludo as the governorship candidates of the People's Democratic Party, that's the PDP, and the All Progressive Grand Alliance, that's the APC, respectively, for the November 6 polls in the state.
Now recall that INEC had excluded Uba and Soludo from the list it published recently for the Anambra State governorship poll, citing court cases as the reason for doing so.
Well, but just yesterday afternoon, Courts 5 of the High Court, presided over by Justice Obiora Owambunike, in a matter brought before it by Senator Ugochukwu Uba against Mr. Valentine Ozigbo, a factional governorship candidate of the PDP, and INEC said Uba's faction of the party held its primary election in line with a subsisting live court judgment stipulating the guidelines for the exercise.
Now, similarly, a High Court presided over by Justice Chukwudi Oka has ordered INEC to enlist Charles Chukwuma Soludo as the candidate of ABGA and drop Chukwudi Umeoji, earlier published by the commission. So now the question is, what does this incessant court cases mean, and how will it incessant court cases, I beg your pardon, mean, and how will it affect the polls come November 6?
All right, Godi, Anambra yet again is another U-turn.
Thank you very much. You see, at times I ask myself question if we're actually practicing democracy or judiciacracy. The Nigerian democracy has been characterized with court judgments. And I think at some point in the history of this country, we should be able to subject our judges to some psychiatric evaluation, kind of. First of all, the first judgment that came through that I read in an online newspaper called The Cable yesterday was that the court has asked the INEC to actually include the name of Osigbo, Valentine Osigbo, in that list. And another court judgment came through in the evening that Ugochukwu Uba is the man. Now I'm asking myself, so what is the essence of actually spending so much money, going through the primaries, renting a place, all the political maneuvering and meandering and everything? At the end of the day, we rely on court to make the candidates. And I'm asking myself, is this what the democracy is? I have followed democracy across the world, the United States, the US, the Germany, and even the Kenya, South Africa. I have never seen the kind of democracy that we practice. If we are at the mercy of courts to determine who is the candidate of a political party to stand for an election, so why should we all along busy spending money, doing all manner of things at the campaign ground and the rest of it on the last day to resort to court to make us the candidate? It is unbelievable. And I feel that the judges in this country have not done enough, have not been able to do so much to help our political ecosystem grow. It is not growing. This is not how it works. This is not how everything should be done.
Right.
Court shouldn't determine who is the candidate of a party. Look at the Imo State. A court says that a man who came third or fourth in an election is the winner of that election. Today, the problem has been in that, because obviously you're going to see a reaction from people, because if they know that this is not what they did and someone sits somewhere and take that decision for them, this is not a criminal case. This is not a civil case that you need to sit down and adjudicate or maybe talk about and give a judgment at the end of the day. This is a political matter.
Right now, Godi, it's quite a lot. I mean, looking at what's happening in a number of states, and we're counting down to November 6th. It also brings the electoral bill that was also discussed heavily and debated on, because one of the terms and conditions in that bill states that the court, that INEC will have no right in giving or in taking part in the judgment on who becomes the governor of a state should that get to that process. What do you think about that clause in the electoral amendment bill that has been trending for the past few days?
Yes, that is where the problem is. A lot of people focus on the e-transmission of results. That is what a lot of people, and there are a lot of misgivings. There are a lot of clauses in that electoral bill that is going to truncate whatever we are trying to build democratically. You see, it is wrong. Why would INEC not be part of it? Why would you invite INEC to witness your primaries and everything, and at the end of the day, you are asking INEC not to be part of who becomes the candidate? Is there an umpire? It's just like playing a football and asking a referee not to be part of any incidents in the field. Right. It's not going to work, because if a referee does not get it...
To take your reference of football, maybe the court can be VAR.
Well...
Yes, maybe.
Video assistant referee.
You have also seen on-field referee. You have also seen on-field referee turn down the VAR request.
Right.
So it has happened. You have also seen a VAR turning down the on-field incident. So these things happen. So INEC is a critical ingredient in our democratic setting, because they are the people that conduct the election. If all of these things are happening, and at the end of the day, there is no election at the end of the day, there is no movement. There is no movement. We are only involved in motion. So I feel that we need to look at, Mr. President shouldn't assent to that electoral bill. He should look at it very critically well and ensure that everything, like he told us, that is going to be create a very proper electoral document for Nigeria before he leaves office. He should look at it very well on that note, because if he assented to that document, it's going to be a crisis in waiting.
All right, Godi of us say, yes, publisher and political analyst. Thank you so much for coming on Breakfast Central this morning. You've given us quite an analogy about, football,
and
VAR, and even
the referee.
who are the linesmen right now. Thank you very much, Godi. We'd love to have you once again on Breakfast.
All right, still to come, we have more top stories right after this. Still in Nigeria, where the President Muhammadu Buhari has congratulated Muslims over the Eid-El-Adha festival, adding that flood and insecurity, in his own words, caused the increase in rams, cows, and other food prices. Now, in his message marking the Muslim occasion, the President reinstated the determination of his administration to create a just, harmonious, and prosperous country in which the safety of life and property is assured.
Well, President Buhari extolled the sacrifices of Nigerians and urged patience as the government addresses the hardships facing the nation. Now, speaking on the significance of Eid-El-Kabir celebration, the president appealed to Muslims, quote, to demonstrate the good virtues of Islam through personal examples and practices. He also added that taking advantage of the celebration to exploit fellow citizens through outrageous prices of food and rams is inconsistent with the virtues of Islam. If there's anybody who should know better, it's the president. Ram business is serious business in Nigeria.
It is serious business, and it's nobody's fault at this point in time if the prices of things have gone up. Everybody needs to survive. The cost of buying these products the cost of restocking those items is not going to be the same price if you're selling it at the old or the previous price that it used to be.
All right, it's not just in Nigeria where we have the Eid Mubarak celebrations. We also have it in different parts of Africa, and also in Kenya, where we have our correspondent, Abdul Aden this morning. Abdul, good morning to you. Happy Eid.
Happy Eid, Olu and Oli. I'm wondering, in the studio, I do not see the Eid decorations there.
No,
Or
don't worry.
it's tomorrow in some parts.
All right. What's going on in Kenya? Well, in Nigeria, Abdin, just to let you know, ram business
It's a serious business.
is expensive right now. So we wonder what's going on in Kenya. How's the celebrations been? And how are people prepping up for it?
By the way, the ram business and the goats and the shots is also really booming in this period of the Eid celebrations. And I was even tempted to start my own, but unfortunately, I think I don't have the time to be dedicated and the patience for that. Kenya, actually, most parts of the country prayed today, even though the chief Qadi, the supreme leader of the Muslims, had announced that they will mark the Eid celebrations on Wednesday. So we are another time witnessing the divisions of the markings of the day. But nevertheless, it has been a very great day, a public holiday declared by the Interior Ministry here in Kenya. And Eid greetings, Eid messages have been moving around. And of course, it started well, Olu.
Right, Abdul, now another thing we need to, which the government in Nigeria here came and made an announcement for, is in terms of decentralization of the gatherings. Now, looking at where to pray, because in your country, Kenya, where you are at the moment, you made mention of going to pray this morning. Tell us how it has been putting in mind or putting in view COVID-19 and this new variant that is somehow in the air.
This is actually the first major Eid, we call it the big Eid. We have two, the Eid-el-Fitr after Ramadan, and now this one, the Eid-el-Adha, Eid-el-Kabir. And earlier today, I was in the congregation place, and it was indeed a lot of restrictions, social distancing, the masks, and following other COVID-related protocols. This is the first time since the pandemic that we are having this big Eid. We know the last year here in Kenya, we've had restrictions, intercity, intertowns. The government had placed some lockdowns. But today, there was a very large congregations, rather larger congregations in different parts of the country. But here where I am in the city, Nairobi, it was actually related to COVID protocols, masks on, and there were also some fears. Not all the populations we used to witness in the previous Eids before the pandemic came out today.
Right. Abdul, I'm just curious. I mean, looking at the scenario of what's happening in Nigeria now, there's been an inflation, no doubt, not a surprise at all. How has it been? The cost of buying rams, cows, goats, especially during this festive period. Has there been any increase in price, or has there been a downside in terms of the cost of buying any of these animals?
I wish I could say it in Naira, but in dollars.
By all means, tell us in shillings.
In shillings.
Yeah, in shillings, it's 10,000 Kenya shillings. Some are even going for as much as 40,000 Kenya shillings. And this is almost like 100% or even 300% price increment. Since the budget, the country has been crying. And I thought it is only Kenya, and I'm surprised to know it's also the same in Nigeria, because we've had the price of cooking gas has gone up. We've had the price of fuel has gone up. We've had prices of food stuff has also gone up. And this Eid, I'm not really sure that many families could afford to slaughter the goats, even though it is a religious practice. But because of the cost of the animals, I mean, it's really discouraging. And there are other charity organizations that have really come in and donating the meat to the less privileged, or even to many parts of the country. But to be honest, the cries are all over the country, and we're hoping for the better in the near future.
All right. We just did a quick conversion, Abdin. So about 10,000 shillings for ram in Nairobi, Kenya, which goes up to about 38,000 naira in Nigeria, upwards, give or take. And the costs, as some of my friends are complaining, about 40,000 naira to buy ram, which is like a real increase for those for many of us.
It's like a dowry now.
All right.
Yes.
So pretty much still same of same. So clearly, cost of food and cost of ram on the increase in Africa. Well, thank you very much, Abdul. At least you've given us the real cost of what it is about Eid this morning in Nairobi, Kenya. Thank you once again, Abdul. Always a pleasure.
Well, it's a pleasure, and I say Eid Mubarak to the new Central family.
Yes, indeed. Enjoy your day in Kenya. Enjoy everything, Abdin. Thank you. All right, more top stories right here. Breakfast Central. You're all still watching Breakfast Central. Yes, from the cost of ram in Kenya and Nigeria, let's go straight to South Africa. Well, the rights of an accused to appear in court physically came into sharp focus in South Africa's High Court yesterday after the country's former president, Jacob Zuma, appeared in a court via video link from the prison where he's currently being held. Now, his legal team argued that a virtual hearing doesn't pass the test of a fair trial. Meanwhile, the country continues to count the cost of damage to property and loss of life, which began with protests calling for Zuma's release.
Now, South African journalist and editor Diane Hawker spoke to us on the outcome of the court session.
The former president was incarcerated on the 7th of July. It's now almost 2 weeks later, and it's the first time that we're getting to see him in any way. He appeared on that Zoom meeting for the court case, and he looked like he was in quite good spirits, to be quite honest. He was wearing the red tie that you often see him wearing in these court appearances. He didn't say much, but his lawyers did most of the speaking on his behalf as that case was unfolding. A lot of people commenting on social media that they were happy to see that he was in good health. He's still in his 14-day isolation period after going to court, and that 14-day isolation period should end on the 14th, when he should be then assimilated into the rest of the prison population at the Escort Correctional Facility. We've seen a lot more military officers deployed to the streets. The initial deployment was for 3,000 soldiers, and that has been increased to 25,000 soldiers deployed over a month period, so up until August 12th. So I think that has had a significant impact in that people are actually able to see the military on the ground. The president also made some concessions, saying that government was ill prepared. And I think going forward, the long-term question will really be, how can they better prepare for this kind of a situation, particularly since the president believes that this was actually an insurrection and not just, opportunistic criminal elements. But what we've now seen is that more than 3,000 people have been arrested, and some of them have started appearing in court. We've actually also seen some alleged instigators have been arrested, and the police minister has indicated that those people are due to appear in court in the next few days. So quite a lot of movement there on that front.
All right, so that was journalist in South Africa, Diane Hawker, speaking to News Central's Continental Prime last night. And there will be more to come much later tonight at 9 p.m. You don't want to miss that one. Well, away from that, let's go straight for the top stories and the newspapers. Right, still Breakfast Central. It's the Tuesday, the 20th day of July 2021, and we are celebrating, yes, Eid all across Africa. Well, let's look at what the front pages are saying as regards to that. Where do we begin? North, south, east, and west? Well, with the front page in Liberia. All
right, looking at the Liberian paper this morning, we have a big story here, and it talks about their salaries, and the big story is 30 months no pay. The writer here says on that story, it says, amid COVID-19, health workers in Magibi shut down one of the major hospitals in protest for over 2 years. 2 full years of salary arrears. Whoa, that's a big one. And you can see the hospital, you can see a lot of people. Some are within the hospital premises and some are outside of the hospital premises. On the front page this morning. Also on the front page, you have this big one. They have failed us. That's what it says. They have failed us. And who is saying this? The writer here says, they have failed us, and that is why this day we're commensurating with the justice. And I'm calling on the United Nations Security Council to set up a justice mechanism for Liberia. You'll have more of this from the front page of the Liberian paper this morning.
Right, from Liberia, where do we Go to next. We go to the Chronicle, and that is in Zimbabwe, if I'm not mistaken, to get the latest from that paper. It talks about shortage of staff slows the biomass vaccination. So a shortage of staff really slowing down the vaccination plans in the country. Don't forget, we had our correspondent yesterday, Lala, who talked about the very ambitious plan to get about 1 million people vaccinated in the country. It looks like the shortage of staff will be causing hindrances to that. And yes, no really talks on the front page this morning of Eid or celebrations, Muslim celebrations in the Chronicle. But there you have it, all about vaccinations, and the shortage of staff is the big headline there.
All right, moving from the Chronicle newspaper this morning, we are going to New Day newspaper now. Looking at New Day News, I beg your pardon, Newsday newspaper this morning. And what we have here, one of the big story, U.S. Zimbabwe in COVID-19 vaccine war. That's what it says, as Zim rejects donation. You have more of that in the paper this morning. Now you can see the boss. Now that is a vehicle that was driving along one of the major roads in the country. But you have more details from Newsday this morning. Also, Newsday, Chiri in Pali over 2019 audit reports. Now, looking at the audit report from 2 years ago, you have more details on page 2 from Newsday this morning.
All right, so from there we go to another paper, yet again, I believe this time in West Africa, Nigeria, and that is the Punch. Well, it's a lot going on in the Punch, but I think I'll just go straight for the big one of the day, all about, the Eid celebrations. And they have a picture of, Muslim pilgrims at the Mount Arafat out there in Saudi Arabia, getting set for the Hajj as they climbed the mountain. So you have it on the front page, but they also got stuff about the Delta variant, don't they?
Right, Delta variant experts warn as federal government begins campaign for over 49,000 core members. That's what it says in page 2 of the Punch this morning. Now, one of the writers here says only COVID-19 negative graduates will be admitted into camp. Really? Into the different camps. That's what NYC is coming out to say. NMA seeks adherence to protocols, says COVID-19 now an albatross.
Yeah, the albatross, it says it's scary. Coronavirus protocols must be violated, council biologists say. So all about the Delta variant, experts warning that once the federal government begins the campaign to have, about over 40,000 core members. And I wonder how it will really pan out if you want to have only COVID-19 negative graduates
in that setting. I mean, how on a regular day, Olisa, when I went for camp, I know how rowdy and how congested it is. Even the dormitories were heavily congested. I mean, the space was barely enough to even accommodate the large number of people in my own camp, and I camped in Edo State for the 2 weeks.
That's a long time ago. I want to believe this is 2021. Now, if you're preparing for, and I'm looking at that front page yet again, when it comes to when you say COVID-19 negative, testing is not a one-off thing.
Right.
It has to be consistent. It's continuous. So when you say COVID-19 graduates will be only COVID-19 negative will be allowed, what's to say that after they get in, they don't pick it up? Because are you testing once and forever? You've got to test. And we know that testing in Nigeria is not really that. We haven't gotten to the point of PCR tests where we can actually test ourselves with home kits. We've not gotten to that level. So a lot of contradiction.
Lisa, whatever happened to the vaccines that we should be getting? Why don't we have the core members? Why are the core members not placed on top priority category to ensure that in their different camps that they will get these vaccines?
All right, so there you have it on the front page of the Punch on newspapers. Yes, there's still lots to come on Breakfast Central. Coming up next. All about trends across Africa. We'll tell you all about it on the program. And yes, 3 days to go to Tokyo 2020 Olympics.
And programs to watch on News Central later today. What does an induction look like? Well, what was that video we're about to show you? We'll show you what goes down in a dressing room when a newly added player joins the team and gets inducted. Let's watch this.
It's clearly a fun one for the Super Falcons of Nigeria in camp. So that's the latest, inductee, Ashley Plumter. She's got Nigerian heritage. She plays for Leicester City Women in England. So she's been called up by the Nigerian team. And this is the way her, new teammates in the camp of Super Falcons are inducting her into the team. Quite funny dance moves, I have to say.
Right, I'm just looking like, I can almost catch the excitement right from where I'm seated. I mean, this is a thing of joy to look at. You can't help but smile and blush. all this, like you're more or less giggling on your seat.
All right, and check this out.
Is this one of the streets of Lagos?
All right, so this is perhaps Canoeing 101 gone south, basically. This is quite bizarre. She's not going anywhere, is she?
Not at all,
despite
Olisa. Well, she seems to be a drama queen. I mean, that the water is quite shallow. Olisa, looking from what we're seeing, I mean, that water is quite shallow. There was really no need for her to be this dramatic.
Well, canoeing and boating is also a life skill, so perhaps we have to just try it once in a while. Who knows, we might get stuck ourselves there.
Olisa, I mean, our phobia for water, is it that bad? Even to shallow waters?
Yeah, but the fact that they got into the boat itself, thumbs up. All right, let's go straight to Trend Wave. And we've got Amal Kansime standing by to give us the latest. Amal, good morning to you.
Would you do that? Amal, I need to ask you, would you try to do that kind of exercise? I mean, canoeing.
Canoeing, yeah? I do not think so. I have a lot of imaginations of what is in the water. So I don't think I'm going to try that.
Since when did Africans begin to fear water?
I don't understand.
I don't know. Anyway, what's going on the trends, Amal?
Yes, now I think the biggest trend of the week has to be the Living Faith Church, which fired 41 pastors in one day. Like in one sitting, 41 pastors were fired because their church's growth index had fallen below expectation. Now, one of the pastors, ex-pastors should I say, came up and made a video explaining how and why he was fired. Let's take a look at it.
In Amaraida, pastor in Living Faith Church, Winners Chapel International, Abete, Ikere Ekiti. On the 1st of July, I received a call from the state church that the state pastor wants to see me. So I thought I am the only one, so I was surprised. I went, and when I went, I saw some pastors, over 40 pastors seated. So I joined them. A few minutes later, we were issued a letter, and here is the letter. Here is the letter. So I tried to open the content of the letter to see what was there. I saw that it's a letter of release, and it says, consequent upon the recent performance review, which revealed that your church growth index fall below expectations. Please be informed that your service as a pastor in charge are no longer required from this commission with immediate effect. You are to vacate the official accommodations of the ministry in your custody, including the staff ID card, and to the area pastor before departure. So I called the management the following day to know what has really happened. Since I am not.
I can only imagine how they feel, because being evicted with immediate effect for those who had accommodation from the church. But social media has gone crazy over this, and celebrities have come out. Celebrities like Daddy Freeze have come out to give comments. Let's take a look at the comments from the people. We have Jer Bernard, who says, all these prophets and their hand prophecies. That's how one prophesied that I will receive my NYSC call up later this year. Meanwhile, I dropped out in SS2. Wow. That's Jer Bernard.
I mean, it came as a shocker. Oh, okay, we have another one. Amal?
Yes, we have. I should have waited for you to see. I think that's what Daddy Freeze was talking to Sam Clef about. Sam Clef came actually to apologize and was talking about the fact that, you know, he didn't know 3 years ago that this is what's going on, but now he, you know, he has seen the light. And then Daddy Freeze said, I should have waited for you to see what I saw. So Jerry Bernard is saying that next thing that came to my mind was, I see snake, I go. You know the song, I see, I saw, I see snake.
Amal, I'm quite curious because he mentioned the name of the church, Living Faith Church, or something like that. But if I remember quite correctly, the statements he quoted from the supposed letter of termination, it says, and if I can remember correctly, it says, consequence to your performance review. Wait, it's the ministry.
Below expectation, though. Let's also not forget that, I mean, one of the consequences,
performance review. Was he employed? And they say you can hereby, you know, vacate the premises, drop the ID card.
Effect, drop all church property.
It's not church. It's not, you know, a calling.
You know, that's the thing. That was my feeling. I felt like, you know, being a pastor as a calling. I didn't know he's the sales rep. And
it looks like if he had a contract that was terminated.
Yeah,
so I would say the pastor had targets. He had target that he needed to meet up with, and if he did not meet up to those targets, then he would have to. He was falling short of the expectation of the church, as it were.
And he had salary, monthly salary, because I don't understand.
Pastors do have salaries.
I think it has put a new light, which I think Daddy Freeze has been talking about a lot. And let's just take a look at his comment from when he heard the news. He says, I'm going to try with my pigeon today. He says, they suck pastor because of low income. Say him not generate enough money for him church parish. In short, okay, you know what? That is it right there. I don't think I want to misspell words. But that was his comment.
Amal, let me help you. Let me help you read it out in pigeon. Okay, so this is from Daddy Freeze. Then sack pastor because of low income. They say he no generate enough money for in church parish. In short, he no parish share, quote unquote, for the parish. Nigeria needs to wake up from these religious dreams, delusions, and hallucinations. FRZ said that.
All right.
Yeah. I know Daddy Freeze has always been at the head of, you know, talking about churches and religion and all of that. So the moment this news broke out, I'm pretty sure everyone was waiting for his comment. But that was it for Leaving Faith. So I can't wait to see how they bounce back from this. What statement they're going to put out.
Has the church released a statement, or any organization, any part of the church officially, but perhaps the head branch or whatever branch or the branch that supposedly lets him go? Any statements from them? Because this is quite bizarre.
It is, and I don't think they have anything to say right now because the letter is quite enough evidence. So, but I can't wait to see I really want to see how they bounce back from this. I wish them the best.
All right, so what up next, Amal, when it comes to the trend waves?
So next we have the wonderful actor Idris Elba, who believes that social media users should use their ID before registering. Basically, what he's trying to say is you cannot have your Instagram or your social media, basically, your username should be your actual name, basically to stop cyberbullying. And this came after, I think, 3 footballers were racially attacked in the comment section. But people, the trolls that usually attack on social media, hide under usernames, you know, pretty, ferocious one, you know, all of that. So he came and said, people in the public eye get verified on social media, symbolized by a blue tick. The process of verification requires them to prove their identity so everybody knows who is speaking. Social media companies should make this mandatory for all users. Currently, social media is like boarding a plane and not having to show your ID. That would never happen. And he went on and talking about how the cowards, the trolls hide behind the privacy of their usernames. And he feels like people should come out and, you know, use your name. I should use Amal Kansime, not, you know, not pretty baby one. So that's what he's trying to fight for. And, you know, some people believe that it's right, you know, let's stop the cyberbullying. Other people believe that they don't want agencies knowing their real information and their ID and where they stay. So it's been quite divided. And we have some comments from this. So let's take a look at the comments. We have Legopreneur who says, Nigeria is concurring with him but are against social media regulation, which has been what most Nigerians have been saying, that it's similar. Call Knight says, Wahala, then we should all have blue tick since we'll all submit ID. This specific person is looking for verification. We have Raven saying he's talking about all the racism that has been going on. 3 black football players in the UK were racially attacked in their comments, and that is very, very sad. So, yeah, and then we have Thug Love says, I'm not with it. I like my privacy. The government, jobs, schools, police do not need to know my social media pages. Some of us don't like privacy. Just because your life is public don't mean everybody wants theirs to be. So, you know, like I said, it's been divided. Some people, I don't know, what would you want to use your, I mean, I think both of you use your actual names, but are you for this or against this?
Oh, this is social media amount. There's never any for or against. There are always, you know, gray areas, gray lines in between. So it's never really.
And it's a free space. So I mean, you should be allowed to do as you please, as long as you're not going against or you're not
bullying people,
breaching into people's privacy or their own private space as well. So I think it's a free space.
All right, Amal, thank you very much for the latest when it comes to these trend waves. We'll keep an eye on the pastor. Perhaps he might get employment in another church.
You never can tell.
Thank you very much, Amal.
Thank you so much.
All right, sports up next right here on Breakfast. All right, then, there's 3 days to go to the start of your Tokyo 2020 Olympics. It will be an Olympics like no other after all the coronavirus testing, be positive, all that. Well, one thing we can look forward to is the, exciting fastest women in the world race, the 100 meters women. So we'll look at the, women who we should expect. Let's start with the African hopefuls, first of all, in terms of the fastest women who we can expect to get medals at this Olympics. There you have it, the woman from Ivory Coast, Jose Marie Tolu. All eyes will be on her, and that lady, Blessing Okagbare, should they get medals for Africa in the women's 100 meters. They are part of the fastest women this year when it comes to the IAAF Diamond League. Away from that, what about the contender? A lady from the UK, Dina Asher-Smith, another person that all eyes will be on. Dina Asher-Smith from the UK. She's been doing so well this season. She's a strong contender. Watch out for her when it comes to the women's 100 meters. But also, you can't talk about, sprinting without talking about the Jamaicans. Jamaican trio. Yes, indeed. Jamaicans are always coming very fast when it comes to 100 meters sprints, and the likes of Shelley Ann Fraser-Price will be there for the 100 meters women for Jamaica. She'll have the likes of Elaine Thompson and Shericka Jackson. Check them out. They are a huge threat, so the Africans may have to watch out which lane they might be, especially that lady, Shelley Ann Fraser-Price. At the age of 32, Shelley Ann Fraser-Price, and after having a child back in 2017, she's aiming to also win yet another gold medal. Will she or will she not? We'll have to keep an eye on all these ladies doing so well so far. So let's look at the list. So that's Shelley Ann Fraser-Price. Let's look at the list of fastest women this year, 2021. Check out that list. Shelley Ann Fraser, Jamaica. Elaine Thompson, Jamaica. Shaka Richardson, she's not going to be there due to a ban of substance. Jackson also there. Jose Marie Tolu of Ivory Coast. Look at where Nigeria is. Blessing Okagbare, 10.89, not bad at all. Alia Hobbs and Dina Asher-Smith. So these ladies, you have to watch out for them when the sprints does start in Tokyo 2020. And don't forget, the sports team will be right here to let you know who won the medal, the race. So it starts on the 30th of July in terms of the sprint. So we wish all those fastest women all the best of luck come Tokyo 2020.
All right, and that's all we have for sport today. But of course, you can get more on the go later today on News Central. But we are coming to the end of the program. We'll be here again tomorrow. It's still a public holiday tomorrow.
Yeah, we got some Rams to tend to.
On behalf of Olisa and myself, Olichi, and the production crew, we're saying do have a happy public holiday.
Bye-bye.
Yes.